I am Jack Crome from the new album. I actually was confused about what the title of the album was until I knew that it was Jack Crome and the Darkness Waltz, because there's the Morris Springfield project, there's the Day of the Dead, there's so many amazing parts of this to dig into. Russell, can we start by just talking about the slight Tom Waits kind of feel it's at the top of this, that I saw someone on YouTube describe as a haunting merry-go-round, which I think is the brilliant explanation of what that is. That sort of, just brings the listener into the world of this album and of the basis of the record, which is the Day of the Dead. So how did this one come about, the Day of the Dead?
This one came about, that's flattering. Someone said Tom Waits. That's nice. I'm befitting my age and singing about subjects that I like. It came about like Sharkmouth, an accident. I lived in Los Angeles for a number of years, and the first Day of the Dead, Dias de los Muertos festival I stumbled upon, I thought it was a voodoo festival, because there were all these skulls and things. And I thought, oh, this must be voodoo or something. These people must be Haitian or something like that. And I had a Mexican friend. He started laughing and he explained how beautiful it was, that they invite all the spirits of the lost loved ones back for 2 weeks to party and be with them. And they put ofrendas up in their houses, which are altars. And it's a joyous, beautiful occasion. And everyone dresses up in bright hats and paints their faces in skulls, and all the dead come from the city. There's a mythical city. And I didn't think any more about it. And I came back to Australia and I was writing you remember I said before, I write songs and I'll put one here and one there and one there, and they just sit there. And one song sort of stuck out to me and I really liked it. And that was Carmelita's Dance. And I said to my wife, I said, I want you to film me. I'm going to do this in Day of the Dead makeup because I really like this concept. I just love that. It's a beautiful concept. And I'd lost a lot of people, and it's sort of, I just love the fact of the joyousness
calling them
of
back
it.
and celebrating with them in spirit.
And I'd lost friends. I wrote the song, Donna filmed me, and I said, I'm going to put it up on YouTube anonymously. And she said, well, how will anyone find it? You can't put it up anonymously. You've got to put it up as something. And I said, I'll put it up as Jack Crome. And she said, where did that name come from? I said, I don't know. I said, I have no idea. It just came out of my mouth. So I filmed it, put it up as Jack Crome. Rick Springfield saw it, contacted me and said, I think that is the most fantastic idea. 2 days later, he sent me a song that he did in the same makeup, another song. And I thought, damn, he's going to steal my idea.
It's a race to the finish. Who's going to get the first 10 songs out?
Yeah. So then he contacted me and said, listen, I love this idea. He said, no one's ever done an album about Dias de los Muertos. And I said, yeah, I'm pretty aware of it. And I said, I've been loving it for a long time.
I've called dibs.
And he said,
dibs, Rick.
Yeah. He said, would you be interested in doing an album with me on it? And I said, Rick, of course. As soon as he hung up the phone, that slippery slope started. I wrote 2 songs. I sent them to him. He wrote 2 songs, sent them back. I wrote 2 songs, sent them. And it just happened. We wrote it unbelievably fast. I recorded everything on what I'm talking to you now, my little laptop. Everything. And I was just about to send it over to him. And Jackie Barnes, who's Jimmy Barnes' son, heard it. And he said, I love it. He said, I think it's fantastic. He said, what are you doing about the drums? And I said, what are you talking about? They're on there. He said, that's a drum machine. I said, no. And he said, you're not sending it like that. I'm doing the drums. So he made me send him the tracks up on not the Central Coast, on the Sunshine Coast. And he put all the drums down for me. And so that went over to Rick and they mixed it there. But it was all recorded on this laptop.
Wow.
Here.
All right, well, let's listen to another song from that, Death Drives a Cadillac. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this before I play it?
Yeah, I can't tell you too much about this. Rick and I are yin and yang. I'm the positive one. Rick comes a little bit from the
Yeah,
darker
right.
side. And this is one of
Okay.
Rick's songs, and this is about him. And he loves car. He just bought an FJ Holden and had it sent over to America, and he's done it up. And so he's right into cars, and he's right into the sort of the death thing. And I said, Rick, you've got to be a bit lighter on this album. This is about joyous, you know.
This is definitely the song of a man that loves his car, isn't it? It's a man that
He
loves his car. He's even written everyone's got a mixtape, everyone's got a go-to song. They wind down the windows, they drive it down. Only a true car fan, like Rick Springfield, Shannon Knoll, Ted perhaps from Driving My Car, but that writes a song that they can play in their own car about their car as they drive it. What a song. All right, before we...
That's a beauty, and I can see him driving around in his FJ over there in it.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe he should put on the paint and then sort of just drive around it. Well, that's the next YouTube video. All right, before we let you go, Russ, I'm wondering if we could I am huge on music history. I'm a big fan of it. I love to celebrate it. I love to sort of talk about it and to sort of get some of it down on record for us to remember and know these things that have happened over time. And so it would be remiss of me, the first time we've ever met, to not ask about The Real Thing. I know it was 1969. I know. Can you have a guess of how many times you've probably played that song in your career to date?
I couldn't even guess. No, but people say to me, "Don't you get sick of it?" It's almost like if I was a professional ballroom dancer. And say I would go and do the foxtrot, or I'd do whatever those dances were, the tango or the rumba and things like that. And I was a professional, and I would go from town to dance. But the difference is I don't have a regular partner, so I go to that town and I find a new dance partner, and I dance with that person. So the dance has nuances that are very different to the next dance and the next partner. So every time I play The Real Thing, it's like a new dance with a new partner. I can play The Real Thing to a crowd of 100 people in a small club, acoustically by myself or with another player, or I can play it to a 10,000 audience with a band rocking, and it's a totally different dance, but it's the same song. So it gives me, I look at it like that, and I never get sick of playing any of the songs because they're always different, because the crowd always reacts very differently.
That's so interesting. And do you find that the songs almost present themselves to you in the moment? Or how would you describe that as, someone that's performed, you can speak to playing the same song so many times. Each time, it's kind of like, for me, I'm sort of going around a bit mumbly here to sort of trying to find this point, but it's kind of like playing sport where you just kind of meet the moment and then the thing happens. If you go too hard for a moment in sport, you can force it and you can push it, and something bad happens because you're not kind of fully there with it. Can you find words, metaphors, something that kind of describes how in a performance, a song like The Real Thing, in these various moments that happen everywhere, happens or presents itself in these different ways with these different partners? Is there anything that you can speak to that?
Well, it's a hard one because I've done it so many times, and when you've done something so many times, it's almost like you do it sometimes in a dream state, and there's another part of you that's doing it. Like, I will be doing The Real Thing sometimes, and I'll be thinking about the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight, the heavyweight world championship fight, and I'll be thinking about that. And there's another part of me that's doing the song, or I'll be thinking about what time I have to get up in the morning to catch the plane to go. So
your mind just sort of continues on its own.
Yeah, it's not disingenuous. It's not like I don't want to be there. Something, because it's subliminal in me now, the song, and I can actually do it on autopilot, thinking about other things. And that part of me takes over. And I'll snap out of it, of course, at times, and look at the crowd, and the crowd gives you another boost, and then you'll be doing something, and then maybe you'll start thinking about something else, and the other part of you takes over. It's funny. It's like I wrote a song, Asleep at the Wheel, which is like it is. Have you ever driven on a long trip and you're driving your car and you're sitting behind the wheel and you're driving along, and then you go, I don't remember the last 10 kilometres. Was I concentrating on the road? Because I've been thinking and talking to, but you do. There's another part of you that clocks in and takes over. And I do that a lot. I'll be driving and I think, I can't remember the last 10 kilometres. And it's not because of my age. Of course not. I've always done it, even when I was young.
I know what you're talking about. I'm sure everyone listening does.
I used to race I used to race motocross, and the same thing used to happen when I was doing that.
Yeah, it's I wonder if you're going to get to the end of this chat and go, I can't remember anything that happened. I just passed.
Oh, no, remember the chat, yeah.